Does true love still win? In the ancient country of Japan, there lived a beautiful princess who enjoyed luxury and comfort until she found love and gave up everything 18 years ago. Why did Princess Nori choose love over royalty, and where is she now? Did she regret her decision, or did it pay off in the end? To answer your questions and tell you more, keep watching this video. The Japanese Imperial House. Japan is a country steeped in age-old traditions. In fact, its imperial house is thought to be the oldest hereditary royal family in the world, dating back as early as 97 BC, with Emperor Sujin's reign. For generations, the emperors of Japan were seen as direct descendants of the sun goddess Amaterasu. However, Emperor Hirohito renounced his divinity after Japan surrendered in World War II. Following his abdication, the monarchy's official roles became ceremonial under the Constitution of Japan, which meant they had no government roles or political power and were not allowed to make political statements. The current emperor is Emperor Naruhito, who succeeded his father, Emperor Akihito, after he abdicated his throne in April 2019 due to his age and declining health. Even though Naruhito tried to break down the wall between royalty and the common Japanese people, other walls were created, such as those about who could ascend the throne and where they could marry. The royal family has been known to break with tradition over the last few decades. Who broke the laws, and how did it go for them? Keep watching to find out. Breaking traditions. Emperor Akihito, the 125th Emperor of Japan, was the first person to break the tradition of marrying a commoner. Akihito is an important part of this story, and you will know why I have to tell you about him. Just keep watching. Akihito fell in love with a simple girl named Michiko, whom he met while playing tennis. Michiko was considered too low class for the young crown prince and had received a Catholic education. This sparked outrage among traditionalist groups in Japan because of their engagement. But the worst was yet to come. The strongest opposition came from Prince Akihito's mother, Empress Kojun. According to Reuters, Kojun relentlessly accused Michiko of not being suitable for her son, driving her daughter-in-law and grandchildren into depression. In fact, to sever their relationship, Michiko was sent away to Brussels in September 1958. However, the intervention of the King of Baudouin of Belgium, who told the then emperor that if the crown prince was happy with Michiko, he would be a better emperor in the future, prevailed. As a result, the Imperial Household Council formally approved the engagement of the crown prince to Michiko Shoda, and they got married in 1959. The media had a field day with this fairy tale-like marriage, as it was the first time a commoner married into the imperial family after more than 2,600 years of tradition. Akihito and Michiko had 3 children, 2 sons, Naruhito, who was titled Prince Hiro and later became the 126th Emperor of Japan, and Fumihito, titled Prince Aya, later Prince Akishino, and subsequently the Crown Prince of Japan. Meet Princess Nori. Princess Sayako was born on April 18, 1969, as the 3rd child of Akihito and Michiko. She was educated at Gakushuin School in Tokyo, a private educational establishment for aristocratic pupils and members of the Imperial House of Japan. It was assumed that she would one day get married and become a private citizen. For 10 years, starting in 1977, when she was an elementary school student, she went on trips with just her mother. While in junior high school, she took up Bayo, a traditional Japanese dance, and participated in public performances at the National Theater. According to her mother, Sayako was born 2 weeks before expected and was a genuinely sweet child. She was said to enjoy the nature around Togu Palace, the residence of her parents as the crown princely couple. As a child, Sayako grew up in a luxurious palace surrounded by dozens of servants who did everything for her, including pouring tea. She never knew the hardships of ordinary life and traveled around the city only by car with a personal driver. From childhood, her light way of facing life led her father to call her later Miss Don't Mind. Empress Michiko also talks about how Princess Sayako felt restricted in some moments of her life due to her position as an imperial princess. The princess always had the support of both her family and in the absence of her parents, the palace's staff is said to have really helped her. Despite her royal upbringing, in 1988, she began her studies in Japanese language and literature at Gakushuin University, and she graduated from the university's Faculty of Letters in March 1992. Emperor Showa passed away the next year, and her father, Akihito, became emperor. After graduating in 1992, she became a research assistant at the Yamashina Institute for Ornithology, working 2 days a week. She was said to be the first Japanese princess to draw a salary. Later, as a researcher, she co-wrote reports on bird observations around the Imperial Palace and Akasaka Estate, particularly on kingfishers. Princess Sayako also performed duties as an adult member of the Imperial Family, making official visits to 14 countries, including 8 by herself, such as a November 1995 trip to Brazil to mark the 100th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the country and Japan. She was also involved in the training and adoption of guide dogs for visually impaired people, as well as being a confidant and source of support for her parents. During this period, she met the man she fell in love with. Her parents were her role models, and their love for each other had a profound impact on her. She learned that nothing was more important than love and decided she would marry only for love. When she was ready, breaking the tradition of arranged marriages in the royal family was something she didn't mind doing. How and where did she meet the love of her life? You can't miss the juicy part. Keep watching. The love story of Princess Nori and Yoshiki Kuroda. It was during her university days that Princess Sayako crossed paths with her future spouse, Yoshiki Kuroda, an urban designer who worked for the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. In 2003, at the age of 34, she once again met Yoshiki Kuroda, a friend of her brother Fumihito and an employee of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, at a gathering hosted by her brother. The two men had been classmates at Gakushuin since elementary school, and Yoshiki had often visited the Akasaka estate, where she was working on her research. Princess Sayako remembered the tall friend who always had a serious expression. The following year, he started working for the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. He said that he changed jobs because he wanted to work in the public sector. It has also been suggested that he chose the position because he lived with his mother in a Harajuku apartment in Tokyo. And unlike a position at Toyota, a Tokyo governmental job would not require him to relocate elsewhere in the country. His duties were mainly in urban development and construction. They started as platonic friends, but love eventually blossomed between them. Playing Cupid, Prince Fumihito, her brother, offered his residence as a location for dates. They soon got engaged in December 2004, and a press conference followed. Considering the frenzy that would surround the marriage of an emperor's daughter at the press conference, Princess Sayako once called on the media not to cause trouble for the man involved. Princess Sayako said, "We met for the first time in a while. The sight of him joining the group with a warm smile lingered in my heart, and we had a pleasant chat." She added, "As we talked more on different occasions, gradually our thoughts naturally turned toward marriage." Yoshiki Kuroda expressed similar sentiments, saying, "I remember we were having tea at Prince Akishino's residence when I asked her, 'Will you marry me?'" Princess Sayako recounted how her parents were delighted and congratulated her. She also said, "Since I was very small, I knew that marriage would mean leaving the imperial family. So although I have some anxiety about starting a new life and don't know what this will involve, I don't feel anything entirely unexpected." I remember watching the press conference and being struck by Princess Sayako's elegant manner of speech and Kuroda's unaffected good character. Yoshiki Kuroda is not a man of noble birth, nor one who has accumulated significant wealth. He's a regular, hard-working man who earned a modest salary working in an office. Nonetheless, Princess Sayako fell in love with him and wanted to marry him. Surprisingly, no one in the palace objected to their union. However, the princess was given an ultimatum. She must leave the palace and relinquish her royal title and wealth after marrying a commoner. For Princess Sayako, this was not a problem, as she had always felt trapped in the palace's opulent confines. She chose love over royalty. Princess Sayako, then 35 years old, tied the knot with her 39-year-old groom the following year. The Imperial Hotel in Tokyo was the venue for the couple's wedding in 2005. The bride chose not to wear the 12-layer kimono called the junihito that other royal women have worn into the imperial family. She wore a simple, elegant white silk gown and an understated pearl necklace. The groom, on the other hand, opted for a morning suit. The emperor and empress, along with other members of the imperial family, were present at a rather subdued celebration by royal standards. Tokyo Governor Ishihara Shintaro made a toast at the reception. Although only about 30 people and 120 guests were in attendance, thousands of well-wishers lined the streets to catch a glimpse of the half-hour marriage rite between the royal palace and the city hotel. Even though fewer than 10,000 people signed a book of congratulations at the palace, most Japanese greeted the television pictures with indifference. However, this event marked a significant milestone, as Princess Nori became the first non-aristocratic commoner to wed an imperial princess since the passage of the Imperial Household Law in 1947. Life outside royalty. Despite losing everything, money, palace, car, and servants, upon leaving the imperial family, Princess Nori had no regrets because she found something more valuable, which for her was true love. To prepare for her new lifestyle, Sayako resigned from her ornithology research job, took driving lessons, and practiced shopping at the supermarket. At first, she was specially assigned Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department officers, who stood by at a discreet distance. But as time went on, the local police provided a light presence as necessary. She also had to learn how to do many basic tasks, including using a card at the supermarket and performing housework, such as cleaning, cooking, and washing dishes at her new home. The former princess had to adapt to a life without the help of servants, which was a stark contrast to the palace etiquette and luxurious lifestyle she was accustomed to. It wasn't easy for her, but she drew strength from a parable her mother once told her about a snail who complained about its heavy burden until it saw other snails carrying big houses on their backs, realizing that everyone had their own difficulties to bear. Despite the initial challenges, the former princess quickly learned how to manage her new life. So how well did she relate with her family after marrying a commoner? Well, let's find out. Family relationship. Fast forward 18 years, Yoshiki and Sayako, now a former princess, continue to make appearances at formal occasions alongside other members of the imperial family, including receptions for visiting royalty and heads of state. They are warmly welcomed within the family for any events. In fact, they were also present at the 2019 enthronement of Emperor Naruhito. Sayako is very fond of her nieces and nephews. For the coming of age of her niece Aiko, Princess Toshi, the daughter of Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako, Kuroda lent Aiko the tiara that was presented to her for her own coming of age in 1989. Princess Aiko wore Kuroda's tiara to celebrate her coming of age on December 5, 2021. A recent tradition has seen tiaras being made for Japan's imperial princesses when they turn 20. These tiaras belong to the state. However, when princesses marry and lose imperial status, they must return them. For example, when Princess Mako became Komuro Mako, the daughter of Crown Prince Fumihito, after marrying a commoner, just like her aunt Sayako, she had to return her tiara at the time of her wedding. The tiara worn by Princess Aiko was originally made for then Princess Sayako when she turned 20 in 1989. At that time, her parents, Emperor Akihito and Empress Michiko, paid for it out of funds made available for their private use. As such, Sayako did not have to return it after her marriage. Princess Aiko did not have a new tiara made, as the imperial household decided it seemed inappropriate amid the hardships caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, so she borrowed her aunt's instead. Kuroda Sayako and her husband Yoshiki stood out for their understated image among the VIPs when they attended the ceremony, as he drove an ordinary car to the imperial palace, with the former princess sitting beside him in the passenger seat. However, her life soon took another turn from being a housewife. What happened? Just keep watching. Nori's life today. The year 2012 was a turning point for them when she was appointed the High Priestess of the Ise Shrine, which is dedicated to Amaterasu, the sun goddess said to be the ancestor of Japan's emperors. This also meant that she was the official representative of the emperor in the shrine. Until the following year, she assisted her elderly aunt, Ikeda Atsuko, her father's elder sister, who was the chief priestess. The priestesses perform Shinto rituals on behalf of the emperor, and in the post-war era, the role has been taken on by daughters of emperors. Although she usually appears mild, there is a sublimity in her expression when she wears the white jacket and vermilion hakama of a priestess. At the Utakai Hajime, the New Year's poetry reading of 2014, Empress Michiko wrote of her daughter's resolution in a poem, "I now leave to serve, the deity soon to be moved, to a newly built shrine." So saying, with eyes serene, our daughter left for Ise. In 2017, when her aunt retired, Sayako was elevated to the role of Supreme Priestess at the Ise Grand Shrine. Sayako now spends several weeks each year away from Tokyo, living in Ise. Before her father abdicated in April 2019, she was present when the imperial couple traveled to Ise Shrine for a ceremony to report the news to Amaterasu. Kuroda Yoshiki was promoted in April 2021 from an urban planning section head to a more important general position. Section heads in the Tokyo metropolitan government typically take home an annual salary of 10 million yen, but the new position is better paid. Around this time, the couple also completed their payments on the home loan after 15 years. Raised a princess and now a private citizen, Kuroda Sayako has found a calm sense of purpose in offering prayers for the people and the imperial family. The former princess and her husband still share a strong bond after all these years. Despite not having any children of their own, Sayako enjoys spending time with her nephews and cherishes the simple pleasures of life. Now at the age of 53, with her husband being 57, Kuroda has come to realize that a life of love and companionship is far more valuable than any material wealth or prestigious titles. It's a choice we all have to make at some point in our lives, to prioritize material success and social status, or to seek out love and fulfillment in our personal relationships. The former princess has clearly made her choice and seems to have found true happiness in it. What about you? If given the choice, would you choose a life of luxury and grandeur, or a life filled with love and contentment? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more engaging content. You can also watch other videos on this channel.